What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. It's not a walkthrough, but I am going to discuss my favorite games as of today, June 15th, 2020. This video will also include games I plan to play on my channel in the next 3 to 6 months. That'll come at the end. I plan on balancing between walkthroughs and other interesting gaming videos. If you haven't already, be sure to enter into my giveaway. All you have to do is like this video, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate any support. If you have a friend you think might be interested, let them know about the giveaway in my channel. I will have more details coming up soon. Before I can get into the games that I really love and have shaped, the games that I play now and plan to play in the future, I need to give you a little bit of history about me and gaming. Growing up, I played GoldenEye 007 on the N64. However, I had no idea what was going on and I would just run around. Occasionally, I had friends or neighbors over and we would play 1v1. I also played a lot of Super Mario. As I got older, my brother had a PlayStation 1 and then a PlayStation 2. I didn't have my own console, so for the most part, I would just watch him play. Sometimes I would sneak in his room and play the Crash Bandicoot games. I was so bad at them and often messed up his saves, but I loved those games. Fast forward to my teen years, I played some GTA, but again, never dedicated any time to really know what I was doing. At the end of my high school years, I played a lot of Call of Duty. My life from there was filled with school and working full-time to make ends meet. Now that I have a stable job and I'm almost done with my master's, I have started gaming again. Some things you will see on my list are games I played in between these times, but most will be games I played within the last 4 years. My gaming adventures are just getting started, and I have oh so many plans. That's why I'm still improving how I play and understand games because I don't have a lot of experience in the grand scheme of things. Enough of blabbing, let me get to the point. If you have questions about this aspect and want to know more about the history of me and gaming, there is more, then let me know in the comments below. Rather than this being in a list form that is ranked, I'm just going to discuss various games that I've loved. The first game I'm going to discuss is Mafia 2. Mafia 2 was one of the first games I ever beat. I actually found this game more entertaining than Grand Theft Auto. The setting and story intrigued me more than the GTA series had in the past. I love the idea of being a true gangster and working within the Mafia. It's been 8 years since I played this game, but I still remember the beginning and the ending. The ending was my first boss fight, and man did that take me a long time. I will keep this spoiler free, as they are currently remastering Mafia 2 and remaking the first one. The missions were brutal, at least to me at the time, and the dialogue between characters was both serious and comical. I was intrigued by the maturity of the series, and I suppose this was actually the first story and open world game I ever played. Driving through Empire Bay in the 1950s, taking down mob bosses, collecting weapons, and setting things on fire will forever be ingrained in my memory. The next game I want to talk about is Sleeping Dogs. In a similar vein, Sleeping Dogs was released 4 years after Mafia 2 and is set in a contemporary Hong Kong. You are playing as an undercover police officer who is attempting to take down a criminal organization. This game is all about hand-to-hand combat. This is the first game I played where you really had to strategically implement skills in a skill set system. I remember playing this game between working and would stay up late going to school the next day all sleepy-eyed. The atmosphere in this game is beautiful, colorful, and vibrant. It reminds me of modern-day Resident Evil 3 remake, just not busted all to pieces. I may do a throwback of this game on my channel because I loved it so much. The story kept me wanting more and kept me wanting to know more about the criminal organization that I was trying to take down. And again, I'm going to keep it spoiler free, but if you haven't played that game, it's worth it still in 2020. Now, in a category of its own, let's talk about some sports games that I've played. I do enjoy various sports games, especially racing ones, like motocross games, as I grew up racing and personally know some people who became professional riders. Here's a throwback for you. I loved the game Splashdown. My cousin had a PS2 and we would play it together all the time. I basically prefer extreme sports games over games like NBA 2K. I find that I'm not very good at those, but I want to be. I love skateboarding games and I've messed around with those since before I even knew how to use the controller. That was comical. But I would just sit for hours and try to learn tricks and create characters, and enjoy the atmosphere. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered on pre-order. You can catch that on my channel at a later date. The next category of games I'm going to talk about briefly is multiplayer games. Let's just get this out of the way. The main reason I missed out on so many games is because I have a bad habit of getting fixated on multiplayer competitive games like Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch especially. I have spent well over 1,000 hours in Overwatch. Doing this YouTube channel has really helped me with this because I seriously would fixate with getting a higher rank and not be able to play anything else. Because of this, I missed out on so many good games. It doesn't end here. I just wanted to get this part out of the way. Next, let's talk about a simulation game that I've enjoyed, Stardew Valley. One night, 20-year-old me was in a very toxic relationship. Obviously, I am happily married now. However, this was in the past before her. If you're listening, babe, you saved me from so much, and I love you dearly. Anyway, I was laying on the couch, and my friend kept telling me to play this game called Stardew Valley. And every time I looked at it, I was just like, I don't like this game. Well, that night, I was texting my mom trying to subdue my feelings, and she asked what my friend and I were talking about, which was Stardew. She then encouraged me to give it a try, and actually bought the game for me. After that night, I put over 100 hours into it, and now I own it on 3 platforms. That game helped me get through a lot of hard times in my life. It's mindless, but also mindful at the same time. You build a farm from the bottom up and form meaningful relationships with villagers. There's also dungeoning type of play in the mines. I still go back and play that game occasionally. Next up, the Hitman games. I really enjoy the Hitman games, but I haven't played any of the modern ones, which is a real shock. I never completed any of the older ones due to various things like life, but I did play them and have always enjoyed the puzzle aspects of them. Each mission is basically one big puzzle that has so many answers to it. I recently acquainted it to the Resident Evil series, which you're probably like, oh my god, what are you talking about? Probably will do a separate video on that because I actually think the gameplay in Hitman and the modern Resident Evils is very similar. Obviously the story and whatnot is different, but the gameplay I actually think is pretty similar. I'm going to play the modern ones on my channel coming up. I'm just waiting for the Steam Summer Sale to get the first one. I already have the second one. So you can stay tuned for that. I've played and enjoyed a lot of simulation games. Games like 2 Point Hospital, Tycoon games, Stardew Valley, The Sims, House Flipper, because they seem to be a good release for me so I don't have to think too hard. I love story games, so I can feel immersed in the story. I am also an avid reader and have spent a lot of time in the past running a blog about reading. That was actually my first YouTube channel. I only made 2 videos on it. Somehow got over 100 views and 17 subscribers even though I never looked at it again. Until recently. I plan to do reviews all the way around. Other than walkthroughs, I love analytically looking at video games and doing in-depth reviews. Now, let's finally get to the present and modern day. Borderlands 2 was the first game my wife and I ever beat together. I loved the humor in that game and just really enjoyed the crazy missions and characters. The art style is one of my favorite in games that's not a realistic kind of style. I love it so much that I got it tattooed across my forearm. You can check that out on my Instagram. It's at @the_pancakes. Claptrap for life, fight me if you disagree. The Assassin's Creed series. I played a good amount of Odyssey, and I loved every minute of it. I haven't finished it yet. It's a really long game and is very bloated with side missions. Some are very creative, others are rather boring and feel like grinding. However, I loved this game. It's the first game I have truly felt like I could be immersed in. This game has all around good qualities and aspects such as solid and rewarding combat, excellent leveling system, thought-provoking missions, in-depth history, beautiful setting, and romances of any kind. I can't wait for Valhalla, and it seems Ubisoft is planning not to make this game as big, and that's a good thing in my opinion. The Resident Evil remakes. If you haven't seen my channel already, I've been doing Resident Evil 2 and 3, the remakes walkthroughs. I'm in love with these games, and the puzzle aspects of them. I love the story and the dystopian atmosphere. Playing it in current times has been rather eerie, but also made it feel very important. The characters in this game are serious, but also have some wonderful one-liners. They make you care about the story and the characters. The gunplay is so rewarding, and I hate being scared, but this game scares the crap out of me. I guess that's in the best way possible. It keeps me on my toes. The remakes are stunning. I wish I could cut off all the enemies and just walk around. That would be an interesting addition to video games similar to photo mode. If we could cut off all the enemies and anything that might harm us and just walk around in the environment that the developers have created. Ubisoft's The Division. I absolutely love the Division games. I played the first one alone. I flew solo throughout the whole campaign, up to level 30. I am so proud of that. The gunplay in this game is probably the best out of any game I've ever played. I loved the deep character customization and got way too excited each time I was able to throw a new outfit together. People say The Division doesn't have much of a story, but I disagree. I found it entertaining to listen to the recordings of people who lived during the pandemic and as it evolved, how it changed their lives. By the time I played the first one, all the way through the base campaign, there's so much more after that the base campaign is basically a tutorial of the game. Anyway, I was so worn out after struggling alone, I bought the second one but couldn't bring myself to play it and felt overwhelmed by trying to understand the new gear system and skills. I recently have gone back and played it with a friend, and it's been more entertaining with some space in between. I played the first game in September of 2019, so I was very late. I will be pre-ordering The Division 3 whenever that's a thing, and it's likely to be a while as rumors suggest Ubisoft is very busy right now, and they keep putting out new content for The Division 2. On July 12th, Ubisoft is doing basically an update on all of their games, and I'll be tuning into that. If I'm able to maybe take a day off work, I might do a live reaction to it. I tend to like Ubisoft games better than any other games. That's not always true, but for the most part, I really love Ubisoft games. I've played Watch Dogs 1 and 2. I didn't beat them. Again, I got into a bad habit of starting a game and not finishing them, even though I absolutely loved them. I really enjoyed the Watch Dogs franchise. It takes an interesting take on like a GTA type of game where you're hacking and there's skills and you get to know people personally in the world and know interesting things about them. I cannot wait for Watch Dogs 3. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much. Let me know down below some of your favorite games. Did any save you from tough spots in life? Have video games ever been an escape for you? Lastly, I'm going to address upcoming games I plan to play in the next 3 to 6 months on my channel. I'm just going to do a list of them for now. You can look for more video game topics coming up, such as video game news, issues in gaming, more lists, information about video games, deep diving into lore, etc. I have so many plans for content. There's a little bell on your screen. If you click it, it'll let you know when I post. I'll see you all there. Many of these games are already pre-ordered or I already own, and I'm planning to play on the channel. Some of them aren't out yet, but they're still plans. So I'm just going to read them off in a list. Marvel Spider-Man on PS4, Hitman, Modern Hitmans, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Mafia 1 Remake, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Watch Dogs Legion, Borderlands 3, Sleeping Dogs As It Is in 2020, Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Dirt 5, Forza 4, and The Division with friends, maybe some Minecraft Dungeons. I will prioritize new games over old, but plan to continuously put out new content. Some of these may not happen, but they are the ones I have in mind. I stay up to date on all video game news and will make plans for the channel as new games are released or announced. Let me know if there is something special you want to see. That's my goal of this, is to interact with the community. I want to post things that you guys want to see. Even if it's not a game I'm initially interested in, it may change my life like Stardew Valley did. After I finish Resident Evil 2, I'm immediately starting Spider-Man. Thank you all for the support, it means so much, and I'll talk to you soon.